So we are talking today about why brilliant people really do struggle with social media. And it's not just, oh, you don't know hooks and you don't know angles and all this stuff. It's actually much bigger an issue than that. And we're going to talk about it today. So, first off, yeah, the live's working. First off, you've had this experience. You know about this experience. You've seen it, you've felt it. It's happened to you multiple times. And it is literally, you're posting on social media. There's a ton of hacks out there. No matter how much you employ them, they don't seem to improve. And I want to just talk for a minute about how fundamentally social media is different to the real world, because when you get what I'm going to share with you today, it will change your perspective. So first off, social media is now a very short attention span world. Not totally, but for discovery, for awareness building, it's short attention span. That's number one. Number two is people skim. Yeah. So you've got the skimming effect, and you see this, you scroll and all that kind of stuff. So you've got short attention spans, skimming behavior, or browsing, scrolling behavior. And that determines what spreads. Remember, all social media is a big billion-dollar business making money from people scrolling. So what spreads is based on how much it holds people's attention in short spaces of time and keeping people skimming. So this is the limit, the constraints of the way social media works. If you want big distribution, you've got to be able to hold attention, even in short attention spans, and optimize for skimming. So that depth gets lost. And here's the kind of challenge for 99% of people on social media trying to use it for marketing and sales. If you've got any depth of experience, I've been doing what I do for now 15 years this year. I've been running my own businesses for nearly 25 years. But here's the reality. If you've been doing anything for any length of time, you know that it's not as simple as a soundbite. Yet, social media loves soundbites. There's more nuance and more depth to anything that you want to share. Yet, social media wants clear, simple bullet points and clear, actionable stuff. And so that creates a ton of tension between the reality of good advice and good content and social media's version of good content. And this is the fundamental thing here. Good content, in other words, content that transforms people, that really helps people and actually moves them forward, isn't usually sound bites and slogans. But social media judges content by purely, did it make us money? Just think about it like that. Facebook optimizes content by, is this content likely to make us money? And so social media has fundamentally changed the definition of what good content is. So you as an expert, you with experience, you have this challenge of, hang on a minute, social media platforms believe good content is basically dumbed down, very certain and quite simplistic. That's basically what social media defines good content, because that kind of content keeps people consuming. They get a hit in a few seconds, go, that was great, and move on. And they keep moving on because of your content. So that's what social media is thinking about it. So when your post, which has depth to it, gets skipped because people go, well, I don't have time for that right now, or it's not giving me that simplistic hit, you get downranked. And then what happens is you start to question, am I even good at this? What do I even know anymore? And it's because of the fundamental definition difference between how Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok values content and how actually real content makes an impact. You know, I know that 3 bullet points saying do this, do this, do this is not going to give affecting change. And so basically what's happening is the equivalence of most content, and this isn't good or bad I'm not saying, anything here in the sense of judgment. What I'm saying is that this good or bad thing, this kind of crash diet content is what the platforms want. Now, is that good for humanity in the long run? Probably not, but that's what the platforms want. So if you've got any degree of experience, expertise where you know that crash diets don't work, just as an example, you feel at odds internally by posting that stuff because you know you're basically posting overly simplistic advice that won't work for the majority of people. But that's what the platforms want. So you end up either going, I'm going to play to the platform's tune, or I'm not. And when you've got experience and you've got years of experience and you know that things aren't as black and white as 3 simple points, you know that you don't want to, you value accuracy. And so compressing kind of nuanced information into 3, 4 certain key actions feels disingenuous. It feels inaccurate. So you don't want to oversimplify something because, if you're in like a helping profession, you're a coach, consultant, marketing person or whatever, you know that oversimplification of complex stuff, it might be good for sound bites, but actually the complexity of the reality of that, it just feels like you're lying to people. It feels like you're not telling the truth. So you have this tension of you want to be accurate, you don't want to oversimplify and give people faulty advice, but you also want reach. And this tension does not go away. Yeah, this tension does not go away. Now, why is it then? Is that some people who in your niche, in your target market, absolutely nail this and blow up, even though they've got a less experience, they're not as good as you potentially. Why do they outperform you on social media? Because they are happy to compress. Whether they knowingly do it or don't knowingly do it, they're happy to compress it. And so this tension, you might not be able to square it. I can't square it. You can't square the fact that actually the advice is more complicated than that, really. It's not as simple as, I saw a post the other day. I thought it was quite good, but it was comparing 3 different types of user on social media. And of course, it's not really like that. There's not just 3 buckets. There's not just 3 things. It's way more complicated than most posts say. If you're going to struggle with that tension, I want to give you a solution. So if you feel like leaving out context scuppers you, but you know that actually putting more context in, like you can't reconcile that tension of, it's not as simple as people are saying. But if I tell people what they really want to know, it's like, well, actually, I just want a simple medicine. And that's the reality, isn't it, with life, isn't it? We all really, let's be honest, we all want quick fixes. We all want quick fixes. And so actually there is a bias towards quick fixes. Human nature. And because social media, we love them, social media amplifies them. So you have, do I want to go into this quick fix route? If you can't square that circle, I want to give you some options of what you can do, so that you don't feel like you're leaving out context or misleading people. You don't feel like you're dumbing down something. And if you've been doing something for a long period of time, your reputation's important to you, and you feel just generally shitty sharing stuff that most people can't do or it won't work. Yeah. So if you feel like that, it's okay to feel like that. But just remember, simple ideas will always spread further than nuance. Now, that's the important thing. Confidence travels faster than accuracy. Yeah. And then nuanced explanations will slow things down. It's just how the reality is, right? So there's nothing wrong with your expertise. There's nothing wrong with your knowledge. It's just the way the world works. That simple spreads. Confidence beats accuracy. Yeah. And nuance is just slowing things down. So it's just the reality. So I want to give you a fork in the road of how to approach social media in 2026. Yeah, there's a fork in the road. If you can't go down that reach route, if it doesn't feel right, it feels like you're being disingenuous, you struggle to make things simplistic because you know it really isn't. There's two ways to go. Number one way is if you cannot simplify, yeah, by that I mean strip ideas down, lead with just the conclusions and confidence and accept the loss of nuance. If you can't do those, reach is going to be a problem for you and attention is going to be a problem for you. Yeah. And each post will feel shallow, empty, lacking any depth. If you can't do that, reach is the way to go. Shallow ideas, confidence and conclusions, and a loss of nuance, dumbing down. If you can't do that, and some people can't, I want to give you an option, is to do exactly the opposite. Go deep. Now, by this, you might go, Dean, how will this work, right? There are people across the internet who go deep and make money, right? By that, I mean full thinking, longer form. And what you're doing is instead of building a kind of very transient audience, yeah, if you look at some people with 500,000 followers, why are there only 8,000 views on their post? Because the audience churns. So you gain followers, but they churn. So you have to keep doing that same thing to keep those people engaged. So big audiences churn more. Instead, you go deeper. You won't get the tens of thousands or millions of followers, but you will build a deeper, more loyal audience. It's called the principle of the 1,000 fans. You can build a very successful business. You can get to $1 million in a business by going deeper, longer form, more nuance, stronger trust. Will you have the most viral content on earth? No. But let me give you my own example. For a few years, I did the viral thing, and every post, 2023, I had 31 million impressions on my LinkedIn, about 4 million on TikTok, and all of that stuff. And what I noticed was I was feeling great about the traffic, but about what I was sharing and about what I was saying and what I was, the financial results I was getting, I wasn't really happy with. I mean, it was good, but I wasn't happy overall with it. So I decided to go the other way and went with more depth and literally unpack ideas like this, go more nuanced. And what I'm doing is by going there, I am creating a filter for the people who just want the quick fixes will keep scrolling past and go, that's boring. But the people who really value and appreciate it's more complicated will actually stick around. And so I've started doing lives more because I can unpack my thinking. I enjoy the lives more. And, you've got to enjoy it. If you're going to do it forever and a day, you're going to have to enjoy it. I get to express my ideas, show my thinking, and actually build that deeper audience. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And it's paying off. It really is paying off in terms of revenue. My stats are shocking, right? My stats are depressing. But in terms of money, right, this 2025 was my best year, But in terms of my impressions and engagement and follower counts, it was probably, from a growth point of view, my worst. So, and I think there is going to be a trend towards more depth over time. I don't think short form content's bad. I don't think doing short form content's bad, but I do think the journey of a customer, the journey of a prospect, they will burn through a whole load of courses and quick tactics and all that kind of stuff. And then they'll put some of that in place. And this is what I find with my world. They will start to do some of these quick tactics, or they'll start to do some of these kind of very, what I'd say, overly simplistic things. And they'll hit walls. They'll hit roadblocks. They'll hit nuances that wasn't in those quick tips. They'll hit other issues. And so rather than trying to compete at the simplistic level, I'm going, okay, you've been through a whole load of those things. They're still not working for you. Let's do it my way, which is totally counterintuitive to what the majority of people are saying do on social media. What I'm saying is do the opposite. Go deep, build trust, and focus on, and I said this the other day, you know, some of my YouTube videos, right, the drop-off rate is really low. The drop-off rate is really high. Now, I could add more visuals to improve the retention, and maybe I'll do some of that. But actually, I'm more interested, out of that video, I'm more interested in the 2 or 3% of people who actually watch the whole video. When I do a live, I'm not thinking about, okay, I have to do the live and it be done within 10 minutes because I will lose people at 4 seconds or whatever. I'm thinking about who watched to the end. And Gary Vee has this strategy, and I think it's really clever. I don't know whether he invented it or it was just shared. It's actually a paid ad strategy, but it will help you think about the depth angle more. So obviously you have to be talking to what matters to your audience. That's a given, right? But Gary Vee's strategy for ads is really simple. He said, post a video, right? And let's say it's 5 minutes. Post a video and then put ad money behind it for awareness, right? So that's his step number one. So post a video, 5 minutes, and promote it for awareness. $200, $100, $500, whatever. So you've put this video out. It's a 5-minute video and you've got 10,000 views. And then he says, now retarget, if you want to convert, retarget for the people who watched more than 75% of the video. And that's how you'll get conversion. And it reminds me of what most people are doing on social media. A lot of people are optimizing to get as many people to watch the video as possible. So they're shortening the video, they're simplifying the video, and then going, can I get people to watch basically the full 60 seconds? Or can I make a 7-second video to get people to watch it twice? Can I loop it to get people to watch it twice so it gets more distribution? But there's another approach to this of, what if I make the video longer, talk to the audience's challenges and pain points, really express some deeper thinking and optimize it, not for how can I get a shorter video so people watch more? How do I get more the right people to watch to the end? And so your videos, your blogs, your content basically becomes a filter to remove the people who only want quick fixes. And then you're optimizing for the people who want the more nuanced, the more detailed, the more thought leadership driven stuff. And so I did this all last year. My views tanked, but my revenue went up. So all the metrics that conventional wisdom tells you are the success metrics went down, but all the things that the business metrics went up. And so I advocate, you know, if you struggle to reconcile the kind of soundbite social media that we're living in, don't play that game. Don't play that game. You will have to fight the FOMO. That's a you issue. It's a me issue. I have to fight it daily of going, I want more people to engage with my content. I want more followers. That is a validation issue. Yeah, that's a me issue. It's not actually a business issue. And obviously, the platforms don't want you to follow this strategy, really. They want you to chase what everybody else chases because you are basically their free workers who are making the money. Nobody thinks about algorithms like that. The algorithm's job is to help create free workers to help the platform make money. And if you make money along the way, they don't care whether you do or you don't. And so if you want an efficient approach to social media, if you want a profitable approach, and you can't square the circle of that depth issue, that soundbite issue, that nuance issue, that 3 simple points will change your life. If you can't square them, and some of you can, and that's cool. But if you can't, go deep. Go deep and optimize for people at the end. Don't optimize for how do I get more people to watch less. Optimize for how do I make it so that the right people hang around till the end. Speak to the people that matter. So I know this is my first attempt at going live across 7 social media channels all at once. So I don't know how it's all turned out in different places, but optimize, seriously, optimize for people staying to the end. Don't optimize by making it shorter to appeal to a broader group of people who actually are never going to go anywhere. Yeah. And I know that's counterintuitive, but it works. And, I'm going to try and do more of these. I'm going to try and do more of these on a regular basis. So if you've got value from this, let me know. Put your feedback, comments all the way down in the comments wherever you are. And, this year I'm planning to grow my revenue by 500,000. So 500,000 up on last year. And all the signs are we're actually going to do it. I know it's the 3rd of January, but based on what I'm seeing, I had a new client yesterday. They'd seen some of my stuff. I had another inquiry yesterday, seen some of my stuff, converted. I'm getting inbound inquiries despite actually optimizing for depth and willfully compromising my reach. If I wanted to flip it on a dime, I could flip it on a dime tomorrow and get my 31 million impressions in 2026. And I'm going to have to fight my natural instincts to do that because we are wired to want that validation, that approval, that feeling of people love what we do. But they only love the optimized version, the dumbed down version of what we do, which ultimately, and this is me, ultimately, the dumbed down version of you will be personally unfulfilling. You know it. The dumbed down version of you will be personally unfulfilling. And I'll draw on this before I shut up. It's very similar to an artist who has a hit song. And they have one hit song or a couple of hit songs, and the fans only want the hit songs. Yeah. Now, you might, like that. But if you're an artist and you've got broad, you've got spectrum, you've got different things and different complexities of things you want, ultimately you start to resent the hit songs. You start to resent them because that's all people want to hear from you. They don't want actually the stuff that really you think's important, that you think will actually value an audience and all those kind of things. So it's very, very similar. It's not exactly translatable, but ultimately, if you're going to sustain what you're doing, it's got to come from where your purpose. And it will be, my hunch is, maybe if you're a little bit younger, in your 20s, you might not matter so much yet. But once you get a little bit older into your 30s and 40s, what you start to share really matters. It means something. And I think that's the bit where you can go so far with the soundbite stuff. And then you go, this is not personally rewarding. It's not, financially rewarding, but it's not personally rewarding either. Anyway, I'll shut up. Have a great one. Might see you tomorrow.